Just continuing here with exercise 906, cumulative frequency graphs. So we've got a packet of jelly beans is labelled contents 30, but a quality control check found the results shown in the table. So they've obviously collected a lot of jelly bean packs, and they counted the number of jelly beans in the pack, and 6 times there were 28 jelly beans in the pack, and 34 times there were 29 jelly beans in the pack, 56 times there was exactly 30 jelly beans in the pack, etc. So they've obviously collected a lot of packs of jelly beans there. So it says to copy the table, which we've got there, and complete the cumulative frequency column. So we've got a frequency 6. The sum of the frequencies, remember cumulative frequency is a running frequency. So 6 frequencies so far, 6 plus 34 is 40. So it's another way of just adding these all up, but just putting your cumulative or your frequency so far column here. 40 and 56 is 96, 96 and 28. That would be 124. 124 and 5 is 129. 129 and 1 is 130. So you might also like to add these up and just check that you haven't made a mistake. All right. Now it says next to construct an ogive, which is a frequency, which is the line graph. It's the polygon, and use it to find an estimate of the median and the interquartile range. So we're going to first conduct the cumulative frequency histogram, and then we'll put the ogive, which is the cumulative frequency polygon, on top. Then we're going to use it to find the median, interquartile range, and the decile. Now, along the bottom of our histogram, we have our scores. So they range from 28 to 33. So let's have a look. So our scores are going to range from 28. So we've got 29, 30, 31, 32, and 33. So we've got our scores down here, which is the number of jelly beans. Okay, so scores go along the bottom, and our cumulative frequency has to go up to 130. So we're going to have to see how we can go up to 130 here. So we can either go 10, 20, I think this will work, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. So going up by 10. So I'm going to do that now. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. Pretty sure it'll fit. 100, 110, 120. Remember, this is a cumulative frequency. So that's my cumulative frequency. So cumulative frequency. Okay, now I can draw a line with my ruler for my axes, and down here as well. Okay, we should put arrows at the ends of these lines. Okay, and up here as well. Okay, now we'll start drawing our graph. So for 28 jelly beans, the cumulative frequency is 6, and then for 29 jelly beans, it's 40. So for 28 jelly beans, cumulative frequency is 6. Now 5, this is 5, so just a bit higher than 5 is 6. So that's my first column. And then for 29 jelly beans, notice the 29's got to be in the center of the column. The cumulative frequency is 40, which is up here. So even though the number is in the center of the column, when I do join the tops of the columns with my line graph, my polygon or my ogive, I join the top corners. And the next cumulative frequency for 30 is 96, and then I've got 124. So the next one's going to be 96 for 30. So 96, if we've got 90 there, that's 95, a little bit higher than 95 would give me 96. So like about a millimeter higher. So that's my, so notice my 30 is in the middle of my graph. Okay, and then the next one I think was 124. So for the 31 column, it's 124. It's going to go up to just under 125. So this is for the 31 column. It's 124. And for the 32 column, it's 129, and for the 33 column, it's 130. So just finishing those off, 129 is just, if that's 120, that's 125. 129 is just short of 130. And then the next column is 130, which is exactly on that line. So now we're going to draw, so that's the last column. Okay, that's the cumulative frequency histogram, okay? Now the polygon, I'm going to draw that in red. So we're going to join the corners. Now I probably should have left a gap here, but it doesn't matter. So joining the corners, the top corners of the columns, not the centers. You only join the centers for a normal histogram, not a cumulative frequency histogram. Notice cumulative frequency histograms just go up and up and up and up. Okay, sorry, that last one's not very good, but I don't think we'll be coming across on that last score anyway. Okay, so we've constructed the ogive, which is your cumulative frequency. I'll just give you a look at it like that. And we have to use it to find an estimate of the median, the interquartile range, and the fourth decile. Okay, so the median is the middle, is the 50% mark. Now we've got 130 scores, so 130 scores is at my 100% mark. So 130 scores indicates 100%. So I should really put that on my graph, that this is my 100%, top of my scores. So 50% would be half of 130. So just doing some working out over here. So for my median, I need to work out 50% or half of 130 is 65. So I've got to come across at 65, come down and read. Please do not, I'm just going to put the median is at 65. So that's where the 50% is. So come across at 65 here. That's my, just going to put that this is my 50%. My 50% mark is at 65. And I'm going to come across there. I might use the green. Come across at 65 and hit the ogive, which is red, and come down and read off your score. Now, as long as it falls in this column, the score is 30. Okay, so the median, therefore, the median is 30. Please don't put 65. You've got to come across at 50% of the way up. So 65 is 50% of the way up. Hit the ogive, which is the red line, and come down and read off. And now, as long as you sit in this column, it's always going to be 30. So the median is, that gives me 30 from the graph. So the median is 30. Now the interquartile range, I need to work out where my, remember that is Q3 minus Q1. The third quartile minus the first quartile. So where is my 25% is, where is it? So Q1 is 25% of 130, which is 33, I'll just check, 32.5. So it's 32.5. So I come across roughly at 32.5 for my cumulative frequency. So the median was at a cumulative frequency of 65. Okay, so median at CF 65. Q1 is at CF of 32.5. So I come to my graph and I look for 32.5. Now, if that's 30 and that's 35, 32.5 is exactly halfway in between. So I come across here and I come down to the line and I see which column this falls in, and this is my Q1 at 25% mark. Okay, and my Q1 is 29. Okay, because it sits in the 29 column. So my Q1 equals 29. Now I need to do my third quartile. That's 75% of 130, or 3/4 of 130, and that is 92.5. Sorry, just an error there. It's 97.5. Okay, so just coming across on the graph at 97. So that's 90, 95, 100. 97 would be halfway between 95 and 100. Well, this one's sitting right on, well, actually, let's look at our graph. There was, just be careful here, this height of this one's supposed to be 96, so I think I've got it a little bit high. It actually, if I'm coming across at 97.5, it'll be a bit higher than that. So it actually is not on the border. It will sit in the next column just because the top is at 96. So the height of this column is 96, but I'm coming across at 97.5. So I will hit the red line inside the next column, and that next column is the 31 column. So Q3 is at cumulative frequency 97.5, and when I read it off on the graph, I get 31 because it occurs in the column. It just hits inside this column. This is the column with 31 here. Okay, so they're very close. Okay, so again, this is my Q3 here, and it occurs at, it's my 75% mark. Okay, the other thing you should notice is that if I measure from there to there, look, I'm getting about 32.5 millimeters, and same from there to there, roughly. Sort of. They're a little bit off. Oh, no, it is the same. It's 32 roughly. Okay, so these 4 spaces need to be evenly spaced, and they are. Okay, if one of them looked a bit different to the others, then you may have made a mistake. So the interquartile range is Q3 minus Q1, which is 31 minus 29, which is 2. So the interquartile range is 2. So the middle 50% of scores, there's only a difference of 2 jelly beans in the packs. And the 4th decile is at the 40% mark. Okay, 40% mark of cumulative frequency. So I look at the 4th decile, and I do 40% of 130, which is at score number 52, at a cumulative frequency of 52. So using your graph, come across at a cumulative frequency of 52. That's here, 50, 55, 52 would be just about there. And make sure you hit the red line and come down. And see which column you're in. And this is the 30 column from there to, sorry, you can't see that. So which column am I in? That's the column for 28, for 29, the 30 column. The 30 is in the middle of the column. So that is 30. So the 4th decile is at cumulative frequency 52. So D4 is 30. The 4th decile, which is at the 40% mark, so D4 is the 4th decile, is 30.